Welcome to The Rise with Sterling Phoenix. This is the show for ambitious leaders and bold professionals who want clarity, momentum, and results without burning out. Let's go. Momentum doesn't die overnight, it stalls. And when it does, you've got two options: keep grinding in circles or make 3 moves that reset the game. Welcome to The Rise with Sterling Phoenix. This is a bold reset episode, the track where we strip it down, call it out, and rebuild from clarity. Today, we're talking about the stall. Every career hits this, every company hits this, every leader hits this. The pipeline stops moving, the opportunities dry up, your reputation feels flat. And the worst part, you're too close to see why this is happening. Maybe you've been sending resumes for months with no response. Maybe your campaigns aren't converting like they used to. Maybe your team is executing, but nothing is gaining traction. And you're doing all the right things, or so it feels. You're working hard, you're trying new tactics, you're staying busy. But the momentum, well, that's gone. And busy without momentum is just a bunch of noise. Here's the truth. You don't need 50 new hacks. You don't need another course or a consultant or a complicated framework. You just need 3 clarity first moves that restart momentum and put you back in play. Not someday, but this week. So let's go. Before we actually start talking about those 3 moves, let's talk about what a stall actually is. Because understanding what it is lets you fix it. Here's what a stall looks like. In your career, it might be your LinkedIn profile gets views, but absolutely no messages. Recruiters aren't reaching out, applications disappear into black holes, your network seems really quiet. You're doing good work, but nobody's noticing. Now, in companies, looks a little bit different. Those campaigns that used to work aren't converting anymore. The pipeline is flat, or worse yet, declining. Win rates are dropping, and the team is executing, but results aren't showing. You're spending a lot more to get less. Or let's think leadership. It looks like when your ideas just aren't getting any traction and the team seems disengaged and meetings just feel repetitive, nothing feels like it's moving forward. And here's what it feels like. You're pushing, but nothing's moving. It's like you're running on a treadmill. Activity without progress, effort without results, motion without momentum. That's the stall. And it's way more common than people admit. Now that we talked about what it is, let's talk about why it happens. It doesn't happen because you're lazy or incompetent. It happens for 3 primary reasons. First off, you end up in a situation of signal degradation. Over time, your message gets so muddied. You add services, adjust positioning, hedge your language, and suddenly nobody knows what you actually do or why you matter anymore. The next possibility is feedback loops lengthen. You stop getting real-time input. Months pass between applications and responses. Quarters pass between campaign launch and results analysis. And those long loops mean you can't course correct. Finally, proof evaporates. Your last big win was 6 months ago. Your case studies are outdated, your credentials feel stale, and without fresh proof, credibility erodes. Those 3 things create the stall. And the 3 moves that fix it address each one directly. The first move you can make is to reclaim your signal. Every time, the first thing that collapses in a stall is clarity. You're so buried in noise, too many campaigns, too many pivots, too many, maybe this is going to work experiments. And in trying to be everything, you become nothing specific. So, if it's your career, stalling, your LinkedIn bio has suddenly become this blur of buzzwords: strategic leader, growth expert, digital transformation, innovation advocate, results driven professional. Oh my gosh, how many resumes and how many LinkedIn bios have we seen with all of that mumbo jumbo? And yet, nobody actually knows what that means or what you do. And when nobody knows what you do, nobody knows when to call you. So now you've just become so generic in an attempt to seem versatile, but generic doesn't get hired. So the reset is you need to strip it back to one line that answers three questions: who do you serve? What pain do you solve? And why does it matter now? So you're thinking, cool, Sterling, that's great advice, but what does that really look like? So before, you'd have a bio headline that says something like marketing executive with 15 years of experience driving growth across multiple channels and verticals. Now, we put that in my 3-question reset, and it says, I build marketing systems that reduce CAC by 30+% for B2B SaaS companies tired of burning budget on tactics that don't compound. See the difference? The second one is super specific. It speaks to a real person with a real problem and a real opening. It creates a clear signal. Now, if your company's stalled, your message is safe, it's broad, it's invisible. We help businesses achieve their goals through innovative solutions that drive sustainable growth. Well, let's be honest. That could be anyone, anywhere, maybe any service or any product. That's not positioning. That's just knowing. So for the reset, we take those same 3 questions. Who do we serve? What pain do we solve? Why does it matter now? So before starts out enterprise software solutions for modern businesses. After, we say something more like, we eliminate the 40+ hour monthly reporting burden for Series A finance teams so they can actually focus on strategy instead of spreadsheets. Specific, clear, great signal. Now, you can still get awfully wordy using those 3 questions. So you need to apply the 10-second test. If you can't say what you do and who for in 10 seconds, you can't sell it. Not because people won't listen longer, but because clarity precedes conversion. And if you're not clear in 10 seconds, you're probably not clear at all. So write your one line. Time yourself saying it. Does it fit in 10 seconds? Does it immediately answer who, what, why? If not, you need to keep stripping it down until it does. That's a signal. And signal is what cuts through stalls. Now, the next move that you can take is to actually shorten that feedback loop. You see, stalls thrive in long feedback cycles. Careers die when months pass without any kind of input, and companies die when quarters pass without any real customer signals. Because long loops mean you're making decisions based on old information, and old information in a stall, well, that's really dangerous, especially today. So, if you're stuck in a career stall loop, you're waiting like 6 months for recruiters to call you back, you're sending resumes into applicant tracking systems, and just hoping. That's a month-long feedback loop. And in that time, you have no idea if your positioning works, if your experience resonates, or if you're even in the right market. Now, the reset is, let's tighten that loop down to 48 hours. Instead of applying and waiting, create opportunities for immediate feedback. So, your first option would be to publish one insight on LinkedIn this week. See who engages. Those are your warm leads. People who actually care about what you know. Your other option would be to reach out to 10 people in your target companies, not with a resume, with a question. I'm exploring, whatever the role type is, opportunities, and would value 10 minutes of your perspective on what separates great candidates from the good ones in this space. Or option three, do a skills sprint. Pick one capability you want to be known for and create proof of it this week. A framework, a mini project, something tangible that you can point to. Do a great walkthrough. It's one of the things that I really love seeing on LinkedIn right now. Show people how you're using some tool that you'd be expected to use or solving a problem that you know that the position that you're looking for has. Now, all three of these get you feedback in 48 hours, not 6 months. Now, if you're in a company stall loop, you're sitting in this horrible position of launching campaigns and waiting for quarterly reports. You're running experiments and you're analyzing those results 90 days later. But then the market's shifted and the opportunity passed and you've burned budget on something that wasn't even working. And right now the market is moving faster than ever. So the reset is to tighten down that loop to weekly or daily where possible. So option one, go talk to 5 actual customers this week. Don't do a survey. Have actual conversations. What made you buy? What almost made you not buy? And what would make you refer us? Your next option would be to test your new pitch tomorrow, not next quarter. Send it out to 50 prospects. See what kind of response rate you get in the next 48 hours. And your third option would be to run some micro campaigns, not like $50,000 over 90 days, like $5,000 over 7 days. You need to learn fast. Kill what doesn't work, scale what does. Short loops let you course correct before the stall becomes permanent. Now here's why short loops really matter. In a stall, your assumptions are probably wrong. You think you know what's broken, but you're too close to see clearly. Short loops force confrontation with reality. Fast feedback tells you whether or not your new positioning works, or whether your offer resonates, or whether your strategy is even sound. Long loops let you stay comfortable in the wrong positions for too long. And comfort in a stall is how you end up staying stuck. Now, the third move you can make in a stall is to engineer a proof point. So, the stall ends the second you have proof again. Not a plan, not a deck, not a strategy document, but real life actual proof. Because proof creates credibility, and credibility creates conversations, and conversations create the momentum that you need. So, what this looks like if you're in the midst of a career stall. Let's say your last big accomplishment was 18 months ago, and your testimonials are generic and your portfolio is all outdated. When someone looks at your profile, they just see history, not current proof that you can deliver. So the reset is that you need to go engineer fresh proof deliberately. So your first option would be to publish visible insight. Write one LinkedIn post that demonstrates your thinking. You do this by taking and framing a problem, breaking down why it happens, and offering a clear solution. That's proof you think strategically. Your next option would be to secure a testimonial. Reach out to somebody you've helped recently, even if it wasn't a formal engagement. Ask them, would you be willing to speak to the impact of whatever that specific thing we did together was? Your third option would be to create a micro project. Build something useful, a framework, a tool, a resource, and put it out there with, I built this to solve X problem. That's proof you actually ship. The key is you got to do this in a 30-day timeline. Pick one and force it to land inside those 30 days. Now, if it's the company that stalled, you need to create that same kind of proof. Maybe your case studies are from 2022. Your wins are old. Your recent successes feel stale and safe. When prospects evaluate you, they don't see momentum, they don't see proof. They see a company that used to deliver. So, the big reset here is that you need to engineer a proof point with real intention. So, your first option would be to pick your best current customer and document their results. Turn that into a case study right now this month. Specific numbers, clear before and after, that's proof that's current. Your next option would be to run a pilot designed to win. Not let's experiment, but let's engineer a small win we can point back to. So you pick a client who's likely to succeed and you start stacking conditions in your favor and you get the proof. Your third option would be to create a results showcase. If you can't share client specifics, then show your methodology working. Here's how we reduce development time by 35% in 60 days. And here's the exact framework that we use. Again, you got to stick to a 30-day timeline when you do this. And you got to force it to land super fast because fresh proof breaks stalls. Now let's talk a little bit about why proof matters than plans. Because in a stall, nobody trusts your claims. You can say, I'm great at X, we deliver Y. But without any recent proof, well, that's just marketing. Proof changes the conversation from, can you do this, to show me how you did this. From, why should I trust you, to, I see you've done this before. From skepticism to belief. And belief is what ends stalls. Now let's talk about why these 3 specific moves break stalls when nothing else is working. When you reclaim your signal, you stop competing with everyone. You start attracting the specific people who need exactly what you offer. Clarity doesn't limit you, it focuses you. And focus is what actually creates momentum. Generic is super invisible. Specific equals signal. Now, short loops cut through the whole situation with drift. When you shorten the feedback loop, you stop operating on assumptions. You start operating on data. And in a stall, data is what tells you which direction to move. Fast feedback equals fast correction, which equals momentum. Long loops equal a drift. Short loops equal direction. Proof also cuts through doubt. When you engineer proof, you stop having to convince people. The proof does that work for you. Fresh proof says, I'm not stuck, I'm current, I'm delivering right now. And current proof creates conversations. Conversations create opportunities, and opportunities create the momentum that you need. Plans equal just promises. Proof equals credibility. Now here's what I want you to understand about stalls. They're not the end of the story. They're the pivot point. Every successful career has stalls. Every successful company has stalls. Every successful leader has stalls. The difference isn't whether you stall. The difference is in what you do when you stall. So, path 1. You can keep grinding in circles, keep doing what you were doing, just harder, keep hoping something changes. That's how stalls become permanent. Or you can reset. Strip it down to clarity, tighten the loops, engineer your proof, move deliberately toward momentum. That's how stalls become launch points. So, let me give you the week-by-week implementation of this. In the first week, we want to build that signal. Write your 10-second clarity line, the one that answers who you serve, what pain you solve, and why it matters now. Test it on 3 people outside your immediate circle, not the people who just will tell you, yes, you're awesome to everything. See if those people actually get it immediately that are outside that circle. If they ask clarifying questions, it's not clear enough yet. Rewrite it until it lands in 10 seconds with 0 confusion. Then take that and go update your LinkedIn headline, your email signature, and your pitch when someone asks, what do you do? 1 week, clear signal. Now in week 2, you need to set up 3 48-hour feedback loops. The first loop is I want you to publish one insight and then track engagement on that. The second loop is have 5 conversations. Ask one question. What's the biggest challenge in your area right now? With actual humans. And the third loop is to test one new positioning or offer. Send it out to 25 people. See what response you get. All 3 of these should be completed inside of 48 hours. That's 3 data points by the end of 1 week. And then you use what you learned to adjust week 3. Now, weeks 3 and 4 are all about proof. You're going to pick one proof project, the one with the fastest path to completion. If it's for your career, you publish, get a testimonial, or create a micro project. If it's for a company, I need you to document a win, run a proof pilot, or create a results showcase. You need to force it to land by day 30. No extensions, no we'll finish next month, 30 days, proof delivered, period. So after 30 days, you're going to have clear signal, fast feedback loops, and fresh proof. That's the foundation for momentum. Not guaranteed success, but the conditions that make momentum possible. So let's bring this full circle. The stall is momentum doesn't die overnight, it stalls. Signal gets muddled, loops lengthen, proof evaporates. You can stay stuck or reset. At that point, you can take 3 moves. First move, reclaim your signal. 1 line, who you are, who you serve, what pain, why now. Use the 10-second test. Clear, beats broad every single time. Move number 2, shorten the loop. From months to 48 hours. Talk to your customers, test positioning, run micro campaigns. Short loops equal fast correction, which equals momentum. And move number 3, engineer a proof point, not plans, actual proof. 30-day timeline, no exceptions. Fresh proof equals credibility, which equals conversations, which equals momentum. Why this all works? Signals cut through the noise. Short loops cut through drift. Proof cuts through doubt. So here's your move this week. Day 1 and 2, write your 10-second clarity line. Test it. Refine it. Day 3, set one 48-hour feedback loop. Publish something, have conversations, test positioning. Day 4, pick your 30-day proof project. The one that you can actually ship. That's key. Don't do anything else till those 3 things are in motion. Because here's the truth. Stalls don't break from more activity. They break from more clarity. And these 3 moves, they're clarity in action. Now, here's the one thing I want you to remember. Careers and companies don't die from stalls. They die from staying stalled. The stall is just information. It's telling you something needs to reset. So reset your signal, shorten your loop, engineer your proof. That's not giving up. That's getting strategic. That's not admitting defeat. You're choosing momentum. That's how you rise. Thanks for listening to Rise. Clarity, momentum, no burnout. That's the rise.